Hey guys, this is BlendMaster here, and today I'm recording my first video, and it's going to be an introduction on how to use Blender. Blender's a 3D free open source software that can be used for modeling, sculpting, animating, and even rendering. So first, let's head over to their website. And here there's a lot of information about Blender, the software, and even the team behind it. You can get involved, talk to some of the developers. You can download the software, and this works on Windows, Mac, and Linux. So let's go back to Blender and I'll show you the ins and outs. So to move around the 3D space, you just click the middle mouse button and move around, and you can rotate. To zoom in and out, all you have to do is scroll the middle mouse button, and to pan, if you press shift and hold the middle mouse button, you can pan around. To select objects in Blender, it's different than most software and even the normal computer. You just right click. So if you right click on the object, you'll select it, and there'll be a orangish yellow outline. If you left click, it'll just move the 3D cursor, and this is where objects will be created when you add them into your scene. So if you press Shift S, cursor to center, it'll move that back. So I'm going to teach you some of the basic hotkeys for Blender, which will really help improve your process and speed up your process when you create scenes. So first thing is changing your views. If you press 1 on the numpad key, it'll snap you to a front view, 3 is right, and 8 or 7 is top. And if you press 5, it'll go into orthographic mode. You can do all of this by going to view down here and selecting these, and it even shows you the hotkeys if you forget. To add an object, if you go to add up here, you can select any of these objects, and if you click it, it'll spawn right at the middle of the scene, and you can press X to delete. And if you right click anything, you have to right click to select an object, just reminding you. Over here's the properties tab where you can change most of the settings. Here's the world settings, which will change the color when you render. This is the camera, which you'll use to focus the part of your scene. If you press 0 on the numpad key, you'll be looking at the view of your camera. And if I press add mesh cube, this will be rendered. So if you click the camera here, render, that's what it'll look like. And if you press escape, then you're back to the 3D viewport. So for this cube, you can add modifiers, which will change its shape and even deform it in some different ways. I'm just clicking around, and you can see that it's doing some deformation just by adding random modifiers and stuff to it. If I press subdivision surface, it smooths everything out, and you can even click smooth over here to smooth it out further. So I'm just going to press X to delete and press flat to change it. So if you press tab or you go down here to press edit mode, you'll be in edit mode where you can change the object's geometry or add more geometry. If you press G, you can move this vertex around, and you press right to select the vertex. If you hold down shift and select multiple vertexes, you can end up selecting edges and even faces. To press G and move around. Over here you can have it so that you only select edges, only select faces, or only select vertices. So if you press S, that'll scale the whatever is selected. So if I select this face, press S, I can scale it. And to approve of this, you just left click, and it'll keep this transformation. You can press R to rotate it too. If you want to undo something, all you have to do is press Ctrl Z. But if you go back too far, you can press Ctrl Shift Z to redo it. So if you tab back out of edit mode, you'll go to object mode, And here you can view the viewport in multiple ways. You can go to wireframe, solid, texture view if you have textures applied, and then rendered view, which is what your image will look like after you render it out. So when you're in rendered view, it'll often slow down the viewport and uh, it'll be very difficult to maneuver. So I tend to keep it in solid view until I'm ready to see or get a preview of what my scene's going to look like. To add a material, if you go over here, you can press new, and then add a material, change the color, change the shininess. You can even make it emit light if you want to. So I'll make this blue, and then I'm going to press Shift A, which will bring up the adding an object menu. I'm going to add a plane. I'll press S to scale this out, and then if I press 0 to go to my camera and select the edge of it, I can press G and move it around. I can press the middle mouse button to zoom in and out, and I can even press R to rotate it. So if I do all this, press render, I'll get my image rendered out, and if I press F3, I can save the image to wherever I want to. So that's it for my intro to Blender. Hope you learned a lot about it and use the software for future projects that'll involve modeling, rigging, animating, rendering, compositing, and much more. Bye.